So I ruffled some feathers recently when I talked about blocking, and I talked about blocking in a specific conversation. And I think it's worthwhile sometimes to have conversations because I think people may not realize when you're younger, in particular, how you come off. And now this is mainly on YouTube. This is mainly happening on YouTube, but it happens a little bit on TikTok. I use some analogies here, so I'll let you look that one up. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm not bad. I'm okay, but I'm trying to lose some weight. I this past spring I'd put on a little bit of weight. Most of my family is very much bigger, so I'm doing pretty well, and I do it by eating less and moving more. Pretty simple. There's a guy who does the keto diet, and the keto diet's like this high protein thing. Now, I've talked with my doctor about this, and that is really damaging to me. As you get older, the stress that it puts on certain organs is really bad, and you shouldn't use the keto diet. The guy who did the keto diet, who invented it, went off the keto diet because he said he had some side effects similar to the things brought out. He's now since walked that back a little bit because he's realized something that his entire existence is the keto diet, and his book and everything else is how he makes a living. But if I told you, hey, I don't believe in the keto diet, I believe in just walking more and eating less, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. You wouldn't say, what? You don't believe in the keto diet? You're a fat pig. You hate dieting. You don't want to lose weight. You want to gain weight. You want to destroy everybody and make everybody fat. You wouldn't say that because that would be insane. You wouldn't tell me that I had to go talk to the keto diet guy because, oh my God, you have to talk with him. It's like, no, he's doing his thing. I disagree with it. I'm doing my thing. I have an entire body of work. I've given talks on the things that I do. I make games about the things. Like, I have all this proof. Right? The other part of this is if I go on a place and I explain how a nuclear bomb works, right? It's rapid expansion, atoms fusion. You don't instantly go, oh, Chet wants to nuclear bomb the world. Oh, he's like, oh, he understands how the physics work. You can understand that knowledge isn't meaning like cheerleading, and I've talked about at length on my videos about like things like games as a service and how the industry's changing and how we're having these forever games and these games that are super sticky and they take away the opportunity for other games and all of that. I talk at length about that. So I understand it. But if I don't like the keto guy, all of a sudden, I don't know what. It gets exhausting, right? So why engage in that conversation? And because all I'll get is, oh, you just want to be in a thought bubble. You just want to have everyone agree with you. No, the thought bubble I'm in is reasonable, intelligent conversations. It may exclude you. Sorry. But that's the thought bubble I'm on. And there's a lot of disagreement and discussion and nuance around these things. They go on the blue sky where I think I'm probably the most thoughtful and nuanced conversations around this, right? But like, if you tell me, oh, devs hate gamers and they don't want anyone to play their game, or what? Like seriously, somebody said that, and I'm like, ugh. And then they're gonna find like one dev who said something out of frustration about gamers, and then I have to defend it. Well, here's the deal: I don't. I'm not your mom. I can just block you. I don't care what you say or think, right? The other thing is like, I hear, publishers purposely want to make bad games. They want to destroy the industry. What? Oh, they're doing it all for tax breaks. That's not how it works, right? They want to make the biggest pile of money. You make the biggest pile of money by making a successful game. Everybody wants to make games that people play and interact with and like. They do. And then if it goes poorly, then they're like, well, shit, now what do we do? And then they try to figure it out and scramble, right? But everybody wants to make a good game. And there's like other things of like, nobody plays Call of Duty, so nobody plays Call of Duty. Prove it to me otherwise. No, I'm not going to prove to you the earth is round. I'm exhausted proving the earth is round. I'm not going to continue to do that. It's an accepted fact. Call of Duty is a popular game. If you don't play it, that's cool. I actually don't play it either. But there's a bunch of people who do, and they should be able to play it. You shouldn't be able to stop them from playing it because you don't play it. That is just weird. That is just strange. So again, I'm going to remove you from the conversation because you're going to stomp your feet and you're going to demand that I prove to you the earth is round all the time. And again, I'm not your mom. Like, I'm not going to prove to you why fruit roll-ups isn't a valid dinner for you. I don't care. Eat them. Eat them. Do whatever you want. I don't care, right? It's just bizarre seeing these conversations where you have these people who just really think the developers hate gamers and that they want to make bad games and then they clearly hate games and they want games to fail and they want to dance on their developers and the developers should be thrown out of the industry for being so horrible. I don't want to engage with you. I don't want to have a conversation about that because you're telling me the earth is flat and I have to eat a keto diet. Otherwise, I don't know what. You know what? I'm out of analogies. I don't think an analogy comes to the level of stupidity that some people have gotten around this. And so that's it. Yeah, unblock y'all. I don't care. I'm interested. And what has happened is I've had a bunch of good conversations, a bunch of good back and forth. Because I've way back, if you remember, talked about TF2, and I hate the update that removed, they called it the community update, where they removed just the server browser because I thought that game had built such a community around it that certainly served a disservice. And we talked about that. Yeah. There's a lot of nuance around this. There's a lot of things I would like to see and not see, right? But I can also say, hey, I'm going to put my game up for sale for 1 week and then never again. And I should be allowed to do that as an artist. I should be able to choose how that works. Yeah, that's a real crazy one, isn't it? I have a friend who's made a game that it only existed on its thing and you had to pass it around, that only people who passed it around could play it. Because that was about that. And that was what it was, and they're allowed to do that. Because we're not your mom. We don't have to care if you're happy or not. We don't have to care if this is for you. Right? If you go back in the conversation about the speedrunners was interesting, because they understood their small little sliver of what the games are about. And that they kind of are outside the rules. And just kind of how devs think about that and or whatever. And it's way interesting because they have an understanding of oh yeah, it's not just one person. The way I play games isn't the only way people play games or the only games that play, right? And my God, I am not going to prove the stat that not all gamers are 17-year-old boys. I'm just not going to continue to prove that because I've done that. I'm exhausted. I don't need to do that again. I will just remove you from the conversation. And here's the kicker. That I started this by saying it's mainly on YouTube and not on TikTok means everybody on YouTube thinks I'm talking about them. If I say, hey, I'm going over to Dave's house, you're like, oh, okay. You're not preparing for me to come over. But if I say, hey, those people on YouTube that were talking about hating games, you're instantly like, well, they're talking about me because I'm on YouTube. No, I didn't describe you if you don't hate games. That's cool, man. Rock on, let's play something. But if I'm talking about somebody who isn't you, you don't have to think I'm talking about you. You wouldn't think I'm talking about Dave. Or you wouldn't think I'm talking about you when I'm talking about Dave, right? But yet you do that all the time. And so I purposely did it with YouTube. And then YouTube people actually watch videos longer than TikTok. That's statistically something I could look at. So now we're just with the YouTube people, right? You don't get all mad because I said that in the beginning. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about somebody else. When you talk about somebody else, and then I actually show proof of oh, here's a person who says that they want some games not being made. And I say, oh, see, some people don't want games being made. And you weirdly start yelling at me that nobody's saying that, but I'm like, yeah, this person is. That's why I purposely did an example. That's just strange. It is. And it's supposed to be cool. We can just play games. We like games, like making games, like playing games. That's why I asked what you're playing this weekend, because I learn about things. People here knew about Helldivers 2 and Balatro way before I did. They got me excited about them way before, right? So I'm always listening because it's really good conversations, and I like these conversations. And I like having more people part of these conversations. But I also am protective of these conversations because this is community. This is community in these conversations, and I don't want to have to apologize for somebody else saying something to somebody else in my community when I know it's just stupid and whack. So let's just all agree. The earth is round, and we could just not have to keep revisiting that conversation.